Welcome into the Ray Autogroup Fantasy Fuel Up. Adam Hogue here with Ray Scarpelli. A new segment here on the CHGO Bears podcast. Excited about this, Ray. And I know you guys are excited because Black Friday is coming up this week, and you guys have an awesome deal coming up on Friday, just one day only.
Absolutely. Here, Adam, we got a ton of deals going on right now on all of our inventory. We got 0% select models. We've got a ton of used cars that are under $10,000. So Black Friday, it's the retail Super Bowl.
We had Cole Komet out here, and make sure you go back and find that in our CHGO YouTube channel for the full episode here from Ray CDJR. All right, you're our fantasy football guy. We're going to get 3 starts for the week, and it's a huge football weekend. I mean, everybody, fantasy lineups. Lock in on Thursday because you got 3 games. You got a game on Friday for the first time. You got games on Sunday. You got a game on Monday. So a little complicated with how you have to play some of these decisions, but let's start with your 3 starts of the week.
100%. And here, I mean, you got a lot of guys right now that are fighting to make the playoffs. I've been fortunate somehow. I'm 10-1. I've been playing fantasy football since 2014, and this is my best team that I've ever had. So I kind of got a little bit lucky this year, but sometimes, like, even beyond the luck, it goes into researching, right? It goes into researching the best matchups and who's doing well. So I'd like to provide a few start and sits for you guys. So my start of the week at quarterback is Josh Dobbs, a.k.a. the Pastronaut.
Against the Bears.
The Pastronaut. Bears are ranked 24th in run defense. So here, Josh Dobbs likes to run. He's a good dual threat quarterback. So, I mean, I like him this week against the Bears. My start of the week at wide receiver is CeeDee Lamb, who's the hottest wide receiver in fantasy right now. Washington is ranked bottom of the league in passing. He's going to continue to cook with Dak, start up with confidence.
And that's obviously a Thursday game. So keep that in mind.
Yes, Thursday game. And for my running back start of the week, I got Jerome Ford at Denver, who I think is the most underrated running back in fantasy right now. The Denver run defense is horrible against a run. This year, start him with confidence, a rookie quarterback now there in Cleveland. So you know he's going to get 20 to 25 attempts. He's going to get the work, and that's what you want with a running back.
All right, how about your sleeper of the week?
My sleeper, I know I'm on the CHGO podcast here. I'm going with another rival, but I'm going to go with Jaden Reed as my sleeper. He has been lights out with Jordan Love. He's a must-add in your fantasy league. He's rostered right now in under 20% of leagues. He's got a great fantasy schedule, too. So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking to add players to your roster right now.
You're talking about down the stretch.
Yes.
Especially look at the schedule, what might be your playoff games if you're headed to the playoffs. Look at the possible matchups, especially when it comes to ads. That one hurts not only because he's a Packer, but because here on this show, we talked about Jaden Reed a lot leading up to the draft, and he ended up in Green Bay. So I got to respect the play there. All right, let's get to your 3 sits now this week. The guys you say don't play.
Yes, the guys I say don't play. Tua on Friday, Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins quarterback, who I'm a big fan of. A few weeks ago I said to start him with confidence, but this week against the Jets, here, I mean, that's the only thing they got going for them right now, that Jets defense. So, I mean, here, I think Tua is going to have a tough time against that defense. Plus, I think, too, you got to think of the mental aspect of it with some of these players. This is the very first Friday NFL game, the first one ever. So they've got it going on for Black Friday. And I think, from a certain standpoint, I mean, that might throw off his pregame routine, right? I mean, no other team plays on a Friday. So especially with the quarterback position, I just think it's one of those things where the prep, all that could be a little bit off. So I don't expect him between that and the defense to have a good game. My sit at wide receiver is Tyler Lockett. I think he's been boom or bust all year. I think with Metcalf, with his game he had last week, which I told you guys, go trade for him. And JSN, the rookie with the Seahawks too, coming up. I think Geno Smith being a little banged up. And again, it's a short turnaround. It's a Thursday game. Yeah. So I just think that he's going to get kind of lost there with those 2 emerging wide receiver options. And then my sit at running back. Technically, I'm cheating here a little bit, but I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard / Miles Sanders. There's really no piece of this Carolina offense that you want on your fantasy team. Honestly, I would consider dropping both of them and picking somebody else. Plus, this run defense is a plus matchup against their opposing running backs. They're playing Tampa. I just don't want any piece of that Carolina offense outside of Adam Thielen.
Sources tell me you also made a big trade today.
I did. And it is for the fantasy playoffs. I traded Kyle Pitts and Noah Brown, who I signed off of waivers, for Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
I think he is going to have an amazing playoff schedule. Unfortunately, he is playing the Bears. And that's kind of one of the matchups that I did look at. I think he's the undersung wide receiver one for that team. I think Kyler and him, Kyler just got back. I think he's going to really start zeroing in on him as that wide receiver one. I expect a good 8 to 10, maybe even at the high end, 12 targets a game for him going into these fantasy playoffs.
So that would be the Christmas Eve game at Soldier Field against the Bears, which should be your semifinal round if you're doing things the right way without a Week 18 championship, which we always discourage here anytime we're talking about fantasy football. So there it is. Ray Scarpelli's 3 starts, 3 sits, a sleeper, and a little news on a trade there. He is 10-1 in his fantasy league. I am 3-8. That's why I ask him the questions, and he tells you what to do when it comes to fantasy football. But one thing we got to tell you about, of course, is Jeeps on the Run coming up on December 3rd, the 11th annual event for you guys. Tell us a little about what to expect, especially if you might be driving around Lake County and all of a sudden you see this big parade of Jeeps going by with Christmas lights.
Oh, it's our biggest event of the year, Adam, and CHGO listeners. Here, you do not have to have a Jeep for the after party. It is at the Marriott Theater in Lincolnshire. It's a great venue. I encourage everybody to go. Please donate for Toys for Tots. It's an easy cause for us to get behind as a dealership. We're very community driven here at the dealership, just like you guys over at CHGO. So that's why we partner with you guys, because the listenership, everything like that. I think it's important to give back. And as a business, that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is giving back.
And listeners can come in as well and drop some toys off too if they can't make the event, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Toys for Tots. Ray has helped the Jeeps on the Run become the largest single donating group to Toys for Tots in Northern Illinois, which is awesome. So there's your fantasy football plays of the week. He's Ray. I'm Adam Hogue. That is your Ray Autogroup Fantasy Fuel Up on the CHGO Bears podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.